Well, good evening. It's me, Sandy Shellis, and welcome everybody to Environmental Coffee House. And it's Friday, and I haven't been on Fridays because I've been so goddamn busy. But now it's cold, and I'm pretty well done with my summer shit, except for cabbage, which I still have to pick because see my cabbages? That's what they look like. They did not grow really big. It's been raining finally. We had a drought all summer. And so I left them out there. And it hasn't been freezing except a couple of times, and I covered them. So that is the last thing I have to do. And I think maybe I'll come back on Fridays. We'll see. I don't know how much I can do, but it's good to see you. I am having this is the doom night. I mean, I want to do a rant. I'm worked up. I have a lot on my mind, and it is really, really great to see all of you. I hope more people join. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Looney. Hi, Bella. Oh my God, it's good to see you, sweetheart. It's good to see everybody here. Let's get started. I want to talk first about the 1.5 to stay alive, which is a joke. And I want to start with I see something on there. I don't know what it was, but already. I want to start with an article, and I'm going to go over here. Hang on. Let's go to this article. This is the article that started it all. Jim sent it to me. I'm going to go through it really quickly because then I'm going to go back and I have some things I want to talk about. Overshooting 1.5 climate target inevitable, UN chief. Now, how many years have we heard his continual messages just getting worse and worse, right? And boy, I wish Jennifer was with me tonight. I actually wrote to her, but she didn't write back. She's retired. She's retired. So here I am, and I haven't been working on getting guests, but maybe I will start doing that. But here we go. UN General, this is phys.org. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said Wednesday, it is now clear that efforts to cap global warming at 1.5 C above pre-industrial levels would fail in the short term. Short term. Ahead of next month's COP30, which we're going to talk about, the climate summit in Brazil, Guterres said going beyond 1.5 C, which we already have, as Elliot has described on the show and on his feeds. We went up 1.7, hit down. We're in a La Nina. We'll see what happens. But he said devastating yet predictable impacts, which we will talk about. One thing is already clear. We will not be able to contain the global warming below 1.5 in the next few years, Guterres said at the UN's World Meteorological Organization Weather and Climate Agency in Geneva. Overshooting is now inevitable. You think? Oh my God, we've only been talking about it 9 years. Which means that we're going to have a period bigger or smaller with higher or lower intensity above 1.5 in the years to come. However, if leaders are taking the problem seriously by driving toward net zero, again, greenhouse gas emissions, the 1.5 still remains, according to all the scientists I met, possible before the end of the century. The 2.215 Paris Agreement climate accords aim to limit global warming to well below 2C above pre-industrial 1850, 1900 levels and 1.5 C if possible. Now, where is my hysterical laughing? Because I really need to find it. If I wonder, is this the hysterical laughing? Wait, no. Oh, we're not going to do that. Here's the laugh. No, that's lightning. Sorry. I'm not going to be able. Forget it. So many countries have missed repeated deadlines this year to put forward their commitments. An official report of those already received is expected within days. Guterres said pledges covering 70% of global emissions suggest a cut in carbon pollution by some 10% by 2035. I'm sorry. I am obnoxious. I am not happy. And look at these two. I mean, he's nice. He sucks. Fucking asshole. Sorry. Orange turd. Not my favorite person. Anyway, so by the UN's intergovernmental I'm not high or anything. I'm just got a headache, actually. Panel on climate change has said emissions must fall 60% by 2035 from 2019 levels for a good chance of limiting warming to 1.5 C with no or limited overshoot. I'm telling you, is this the laugh? Oh, I can't find the goddamn laugh. I have the, well, we have the cartoon. Well, this is, yeah. Think we're going to make that? Okay. I don't know. I told you, this is doomer night. Friday night is doomer night. Okay. Containing warming to 1.5 C rather than 2 C would significantly limit its most catastrophic consequences, according to the IPCC, which collects the work of scientists worldwide. Climate disinformation feedback. Feedback. Oh, I'm doing good tonight. I'll tell you what I did earlier. Ahead of COP30 summit in Brazil, Guterres also insisted the need to fight mis and disinformation, online harassment, and greenwashing. Scientists and researchers should never fear telling the truth. Oh, no, of course not. But then they get harassed, or they get doxxed, or they get followed, or they get shot. Climate change, it's the greatest con job ever perpetuated on the world, in my opinion, said fuckhead, orange turd. The carbon footprint is a hoax made up by people with evil intentions, he said. Trump praised his administration's war on solar and wind power, bolstered by a new law that ends clean energy tax credits. And by the way, $20 million or more of clean energy projects, which we know clean is not really clean, but they're energy projects that don't stink and don't frack and don't put pipelines in the ground. Yeah, they do. They dig minerals. They do other things. But that's a lot of jobs also. Gone. Goodbye. We're getting rid of falsely named renewables, by the way. They're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. And he's full of shit there because they do work. And my batteries work in my house and they don't smell. So I like that. Oh my goodness. I don't want to sign up for your newsletter. Anyway, so Guterres said in 2024, almost all new power capacity comes from renewables and investment was surging. Renewables are the cheapest, fastest, and smartest source of new power. They represent the only credible path to end the relentless destruction of our climate, he insisted. The World Meteorological Organization is marking its 75th anniversary this year and is leading the charge for all countries to be covered by extreme weather early warning systems by 2027, except, of course, our country, the United States, for those of you that are in the United States. Global warming is pushing our planet to the brink. Every one of the last 10 years has been the hottest in history. Ocean heat is breaking records while decimating ecosystems, and no country is safe from fires, floods, storms, and heat waves. Before COP30, the UN Secretary-General urged countries to submit bold climate plans that align. Much greater ambition is required, he said. Well, we're going to look at this in a minute because right now we're going to go back to me. We're going back to me. And I am going to read to you the greatest hits of Antonio Guterres. But first, we'll just do a little bit of, we'll go over what ecological overshoot is, which all of you know. It's the demand meets the exceeds the Earth's ability to regenerate the resources and absorb waste, especially carbon emissions in a given year. So that means we consume more forests, fisheries, water, and other resources than the planet can sustain, and we accumulate waste, particularly greenhouse gases, faster than the ecosystems can absorb them. So basically, we know what's happening with these consequences: deforestation, soil depletion, freshwater scarcity, ocean dead zones, biodiversity loss, climate instability. And we're seeing all of that now. We're seeing climate collapse, and this is a large-scale, irreversible breakdown of the climate systems of the Earth because of greenhouse gases and global warming. But it's more than that, and we know it's overshoot, and we know it's environmental, and we know it's destroying the planet, even with the so-called green energy, which I prefer, is not clean. Nothing's clean. And the risks are that the average temperature is going to be more than 2°C above. And we're seeing it now. Collapse of the polar ice sheets, major sea level rise. It's starting. It's very slow. You know how it starts. It's not like, okay, tomorrow we're collapsing. Guess we all had better just take our shit and go home. Mass chloral bleaching. We talked about that, last week? That marine ecosystems are collapsing, and prolonged droughts, superstorms, widespread agricultural failure, release of methane from thawing permafrost, runaway warming, and mass migration and political instability, which obviously no one on the administration in the United States understands any of it. So what I want to do is I made a list here. I made a list of Antonio Guterres, the greatest hits, so to speak. So we're going to do greatest hits of Antonio Guterres from the United Nations, Secretary-General of the United Nations. So here we go. Number 1. Now, you'll all remember this because I should put music on, huh? I'm going to put a really soft, let's do a soft reading music to this. Okay. Notable quotes. We are on the highway to climate hell. Remember that one? That was COP27. That was his opening speech in Egypt. That was November 2022. Number 2. The era of global warming has ended. The era of global boiling has arrived. And that was UN headquarters, July of 2023, after the hottest month on record. And then, number 3, humanity is waging war on nature. This is suicidal. That was in 2020. That was at the United Nations Climate Ambition Summit. A lot of good they've done us all, right? Well, and then here's another one. This is a good one. This is his metaphor for, what you call it? No, highlighting the unsustainable exploits, exploiting the forests and the oceans and biodiversity, which he said, delay is death. And he said that at COP26 in Glasgow. And we've covered all of these over the 9 years we've been on this channel. And then here's one that was used to hammer home the consequences of the weak and delayed actions. The science is clear. We are headed in the wrong direction. And that was in 2022. That was for the IPCC report release. Then he does use consistently the IPCC reports to remind us and the world that science is not negotiable. Now, he said fossil fuel corporations are feeding the flames. That was at the UN Assembly in September 2022. Here's another one. Greatest hits of Guterres. He's been outspoken against both fossil fuel companies and the government subsidizing them, like our stupid government in the United States. This is not fiction or exaggeration. It is what science tells us will result from our current energy policies. And that was at the G20 in 2021. Number 8, those who continue to support the fossil fuel industry have been warned. Accountability is coming. UN press conference in September 2023. Then, number 9, global accountability, not just action. Okay. Climate justice is both a moral imperative and a precondition for effective climate action. That was at COP27. And finally, number 10, there is no more incremental step-by-step action. It is time for system-wide transformation. And that was the UN Climate Report response in March of 2023. So I think it's time to give him a round of applause. He's tried his best. He has tried his best. And those were Antonio Guterres's, those were his greatest hits. Those were really the greatest hits. But unfortunately, as we know, we're seeing it. It's happening in different parts of the world. We're seeing wet bulb temperatures. We're seeing sea level rise. And it's starting, things like what's happened in Alaska with the typhoon, but that's also some sea level rise. Desertification, we've seen that. Loss of fresh water, collapse of agriculture. We're seeing it now. Little by little, but of course in the United States with all the misinformation, disinformation, which we do, he talks about, I talk about, we all talk about. Climate Crisis Club talks about it. Michael Mann talks about it. Deirdre talks. So many people talk about it, but what's happening? It's getting worse. Just go on Shitter. Or don't. Take my word for it. But it's not good. It really isn't. We're doing business as usual. And what's going to happen? We continue business as usual, like in the United States. And we will reach 2.7 to 4C, 2100. So a lot of us say, well, we'll be dead. What does it matter? Well, what does it matter? What about all the species on the planet that we are taking with us? We are a narcissistic, full of hubris. Humanity is flawed. And associated risks increase exponentially with each tip upward. Yep. And after 2030, and we will be around, I'll probably still be doing this goddamn show, sweating, but they're going to accelerate and we're going to see it. It's going to happen more. And we're having extreme risks, high risk, sea level risks, medium risk. I mean, there's just so much tipping points, all of it. And the countries that are getting hurt are like, okay, South and Southeast Asia, Middle East and North Africa. We see they're getting hurt first, the worst. And these critical zones are, in Asia, it's India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, and Indonesia. We've seen these heat waves, and we've seen that they've had some wet bulb temperatures, and they get flooding from the monsoons and the sea level rise and the crop failures. We're seeing these things now. And of course, in America, United States, clueless morons, they're just clueless. I mean, what else can I say? Not everybody, of course. There's the 2% of us that understand. Maybe 2.5%. I don't know. I've never done the statistical analysis. And then in the Middle East, there's the Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Sudan, Somalia. Saudi Arabia, they're just living in air conditioning, buildings that look like Trump Towers all over the place. Climate, desertification, deadly heat, seasonal. They're going to have seasonal or permanent uninhabitability. Read Ministry for the Future. You'll know what's coming. And then even the Southwest and the Gulf Coast. I mean, the Gulf Coast, the heat belt. That's Texas, Arizona, Mexico, New Orleans to Miami. Miami's already having problems. There was a documentary a few weeks ago on, I don't know who did it. It just passed by my YouTube, and it talked about Miami and Brazil. Their Amazon is tipping towards collapse, and they're still deforesting there. Lula, what did he do really? I've talked about that before. It's disappointing. In Africa, the Horn of Africa, the Sahel, and the Equatorial Belt. These are, there'll be, it could be 2040 to 2060, but it's starting. It's starting, and it's horribly sad. There's, beautiful people all over the world being affected. Climate driven famine, migration, Lake Chad shrinking, and there's lots of conflicts. And these urban challenges in Nigeria and Ethiopia, the conflicts are terrible. And the Pacific Islands, when we see Mia Motley go to COP, go to these things and plead for help and equitable treatment and money, bottom line, money. Maldives, Tuvalu, Kiribati, Fiji, Marshall Islands, the risk is total land submersion, possibly. And salinization. And then there's the freshwater loss. Oh, boy, I will tell you. And then, where the refugees are going to run? Canada, Norway, New Zealand, anywhere in the north. And then, but the borders are closed, and then they'll have all of them probably have their own Stephen Millers, aka Goebbels, to try to, kill them. What they're doing in this country, bringing them to Alligator, Alcatraz, and then we don't know where 1,000 of them went. I think they're dropping them off in the ocean. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. I'm just not feeling it. I'm really not feeling it. But I'm going to talk about all this awful stuff. And we're going to talk about how to deal with it. Because we really have to. So I have some ideas, and I do have things that I want to talk about and I want to show you. So, but first, before we move on, I have another little picture here. This was at my neighbor's place, and aren't they adorable? Not far from here, so I'm going to be walking around with my bear spray on my hip in the back when I go to my trail cam to see what's out there. Look at these guys. This is like just a couple miles away at my friend's house. That's her husband's tree stand. He doesn't hunt bear. He'll get a deer once a year, and they eat it. But this is at my girlfriend's house. Look at that. Right up the road. They are just too cute. So I just thought, well, it would be really cool to show you that. And one more thing I'm going to show you is I fell today. So you see how I have my wood stove here? And down at the bottom is the edging by the slate floor. So I am crouching. I'm not using my usual seat because I usually have this like rolling seat I put, to do the wood. Today I was just like, okay, I'm going to crouch. Well, I crouched and I have these shoes. I don't know. You want to see the shoes? I'll show you the shoes. Okay. This is the shoe. Okay, there's the shoe. Big chunky shoe that I wear around here. And for some reason, I tipped. I tipped backwards. After the wood went in, thankfully I didn't have the wood on me. Tipped backwards and I fell. I felt it. Ooh, like, how when you fall or something happens, slow motion. And actually, that's when I should play this. That's when I should play the, where is it? Oh my goodness. Every time I look for something I want, I can't find it. But I fell backwards and boom, right on the floor. And I already had a headache today. And I don't know where the hell it went. I already had a headache today. So I fell right backwards on the floor. And I won't do that again. Nope, I will not get lazy, and I will definitely sit on my little rolling chair so I don't do that again. That was really stupid. But I'm here and I'm okay. you know, but it was like slow-mo. I felt it happening. And I basically just fell on my arm. Listen, we all know I have large ass. I suffer from the affliction of large ass. So, I had plenty of padding there, but it was like a shock, but I'm okay. I'm okay, everybody. I really am. I just have to, I got to make fun of this shit because if I don't laugh, I will cry. I was in a mood. When Jim sent me that article, it really did put me in a mood. It really, really did. All right, let's move on to the global adaptation efforts. This part. And I want to show you because COP is coming up next month. We will cover it. We always do. No matter what, we cover it. Global adaptation efforts, this part. As countries move from planning to action, UNFCCC report shows. But the thing about moving to action is that that's fine, but there's nothing that says they have to. So the United States is big country, richest country in the world, big country, lots of money, doing nothing, opening up the Arctic to drilling or whatever again. Now the saving grace is the orange turd did this in 2000 and what was it, 19? In his first term, opened up the Arctic and people didn't want it. It was very costly. But it's different now. It's different now because he's got everybody in the cult. It's a worse cult than it was. And so he's got them convinced. Basically, let's destroy the Arctic. Millions of acres. And they already said they're going to build a road. Already build a road. So it's pretty disgusting, in my opinion. And I think that's kind of partly, those are the things that get me going. But here in this article, which is under the COP in Brazil, they say, okay, well, it's they have the report. We have to strengthen multilateralism, except the United States doesn't want to be multilateral. We want to accelerate the Paris Agreement implementation, connect climate action to people's lives. That's what we can do. And we've talked about how we can do that and how we can help people understand what's happening, the way we talk to them, not put them in the defensive, not make them feel like they're crazy, just, tell them something that kind of connects to their life. Like I say, we had a drought this year, and our drought it's not just a seasonal or normal drought. There were reasons for it. Maybe have a couple of reasons. What happened here? The farmers had problems. God damn, the friggin' evangelical church was praying for rain. They never said the word drought, but they were praying for rain because I saw it on Facebook. I watched the service. I told you guys about it. It scared the living shit out of me because everything is evil and devil and, oh my God, the serpent, the devils, all this scary stuff. Pretty scary. And then they're already talking about the next steps. But I'm not going to go too much into COP because we're going to cover it. But for those of you who might want to just have a little refresher, it's the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. This is the 30th one, and it's gotten increasingly worse. The environment has gotten increasingly worse. Politics has gotten increasingly more right-wing and denialist, which could be a function of fear. It could be. Could be. And the Council of the Parties, they are decision-making on the implementation of the commitments adopted by countries to tackle climate change. And a lot of countries that signed and ratified the convention, but of course the United States pulled out. And so did Argentina, Millet, the freak that I did my show on just yesterday. So there's a lot going on with COP. But we're not going to go through all of that because that's for another show. And I want to do those shows with maybe Nicholas, but with Antonio, because Antonio is my expert. He studies every bit of everything. So I thought I'd move on to this article, which was Climate Central. Now at Climate Central US, $1 billion weather and climate disasters. This is in the United States. and $1 billion disasters is back. Click to explore. So let's look at some of the key factors really quick. The U.S. $1 billion weather and climate disasters database has a new home at Climate Central with the latest data available through June. So obviously the government isn't going to keep these statistics because the United States government is full of a bunch of ass-licking toadies. Trump bends over and they all go, don't they? And the US $1 billion, so that's what the $1 billion, and they're going to restart it and they're going to sustain this publicly accessible resource, which is really good, I think. And the future database was uncertain after NOAA ceased operations of that project, which is just ridiculous. So short sighted. It's so pathetic. There's just so much. And today I was really ready to have a rant and a half. That's why I scheduled a show yesterday, because I was feeling it. It's bubbling up. I was feeling the doomosphere coming on me. I was feeling the anger over everything. From the White House to health insurance to millions and millions upon millions of dollars for a stinking jet for Kristi Noem, the dog killer, puppy killer. Just the waste of money. And I will talk about the White House really quickly. So they're doing this East Wing thing, everybody knows, right? But this is what I think. Quite frankly, it's now up to $300 million. He says it's not taxpayer money. He says he's getting it all donated, which is also pretty much wrong, right? I mean, it's wrong. It's like, okay, we're going to have everything with corporation names on it. And they're, of course, going to be fashy corporations, right? But mark my words, write this down. When he does not pay the contractors, because he doesn't pay his contractors. He won't pay. I'd say 50%. He will find things wrong with everything. And then he will refuse to pay. They will be forced to sue, and they will sue the United States government, and the taxpayers will have to pay it. The taxpayers. The government will pay it, because that's who's going to get sued, not Donald Trump personally. The government will get sued because it's government property, although you wouldn't think so. You would think it was King Orange Turd's property. Write that down that I said it, because I think that's what's going to happen. All right, so back to the database. During the first 6 months of 2025, there have been 14 separate billion-dollar weather and climate disasters in the U.S., costing $101.4 billion. And they want to get rid of FEMA, right? That makes sense. The Los Angeles wildfires in January 2025 were the costliest event so far this year, as well as the costliest wildfire event on record, exceeding $60 billion, or about twice as much as the previous record. Yep. And 14 events already this year. 2025 is well above the long-term annual average of 9 events per year. And now there's a huge hurricane brewing. I think is it Melissa? What's the name of it? Melissa? Melinda? Starts with an N. That's brewing. But these are the billion-dollar disasters. Let's see if I can make this bigger so you could see. Didn't really help that much. Drought, hail, flooding, hurricanes, severe weather, tornado, wildfire, and winter storms. And, it's funny because we had a drought in New York and it was pretty bad. So I don't know. And then there's a graphic type. No, I'm not going to do that. Let me go back to where we were. Let's see. All right, we'll go back. And so they've got this database and you can use it. They probably ask for donations, and that probably would help, even if it's $5, I mean, I ask for donations because I can barely afford the channel, but that's another thing that was making me very angry, but I won't talk about all that shit because I don't want to seem like I'm, whining. I don't. I could, but I won't. They're going to have the latest data. They have data from 80 to June 25, and so read the frequently asked questions. Check this out. It'll have a lot of information on it. I'm really happy that Climate Central is going to. Let's see what other programs. They're going to have a lot of things, and they're going to try to take over some of the stuff that NOAA is not doing anymore. That's private. But again, like I've said before, I'm really hoping Canada becomes the leader in our hemisphere, in North America. Would be nice to see Canada step up to the plate. I hope that their prime minister is Carney. I hope he's working on that. So now we're going to move over to Zach Labe, because what would it be without Zach Labe? Actually, I wanted to go to. There was something. Oh, Arctic sea ice. All right. So the Friday ice update was sea ice extent. Now, remember extent, volume, thickness, extent. It's below. So it's below the 2010 mean. Here it is. You can see the yellow. These were, as it goes down, 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 that is the extent, which is how far it is. And it's the lowest. You see, it's pretty low. Not a very good look, is it? No, not a very good look at all. This is a line graph time series of 2025's daily Arctic sea ice extent compared to decadal averages from the 1980s to the 2010s. The decadal averages are shown with different color lines, okay? So you see the different colors for the different years, decades actually, and purple for the 80s, blah, blah, blah. And here we are. We are in a long-term decreasing trend in extent for every day. And he also had something that was, if I can find it, that was showing that the Barents Sea was kind of ice-free. But let's look at Thomas's. He's using these. These are the increase in carbon dioxide. This is Zach's stuff. Increase in carbon dioxide, 2024. And I really should have the 1970, or maybe it's even from the 60s, Up and Away song. I'm going to have to get that clip and just play Up and Away. And just, that's it, just Up and Away. I think I'm going to look for it. Somebody remind me to do it so I don't forget. That's one I should just put. But there's the trend line. And there we go. Up, but up. That's it. Up. Uh-oh. Where did I go? Oh, let's go back there. Okay. And then atmospheric carbon dioxide, another one that just up. I mean, I could sing to it. I could sing up when the fat lady sings, and she's singing. Because here it is, man. Up. We are here. 400. What are we at? Oh, my God. Put it this way. We're dying. We're not doing that great, guys. We're not doing that great. And then we have so if you go to his Blue Sky account, he's got all kinds of great stuff. This is Zach. This is our Zachy. Look how cute he is. Great kid. Great guy. Well, young man. I'm the elder of the Doomosphere. So being that I'm the elder, I call everybody a kid. I do. And so there's a lot of stuff here. Definitely a lot of stuff. And climate change and the escalation of global extreme heat, assessing and addressing the risks. That's Climate Central also. And don't forget, Copernicus has all kinds of great information also. So here we are. And I want to do a little talking about how to deal with the way we feel. I can laugh. I can bring levity. Inside, I'm in grief. Inside, I get I get sad. I cry. I'm overwhelmed by every single day is something. I have to literally deactivate X so I don't go on it and I don't look at all the miserable shit and all the trolls and all the bots. And I have to try to keep myself just to Saturdays if I can and the Climate Crisis Club on Saturday space because it's overwhelming. And then I had a flare this week and everything hurt. I mean, every single bone in my body hurt. That's me. That's me. It's sad, but I have an autoimmune, and it kicked in this week, and but I try not to show it, because I'm not a victim. Victims sit and whine all the time. I'm a doer. I never stop doing, and that's how you do it. But we're going to have some resources because we really need resources. And as we've done shows with Carolyn Baker, and we have had Karen Perry and other people that support us, I want to be the support, but I want to give you some things that I think can help you. And I'm going to bring you back then. Let me bring you back. Well, first, you know what I'll do? First, I'm going to find the list I have made of, and I put it in the show notes. Okay, the resources, I think, some of the resources we can use. The Good Grief Network, and for example, they have a 10-step program for eco-emotional support, which I really think I'm going to take. And I met those gals in 2017 at Carolyn and Dean's workshop in Boulder with Jennifer and Sam and a lot of other amazing people. They do fantastic work. And the late, great Joanna Macy wrote a book called Active Hope, and I think everybody should read it. The Work That Reconnects, Mindfulness and Activism Framework. And there's I'm going to show you the Gen Dread newsletter, which is for coping with climate anxiety, because amongst orange turd anxiety and fascism anxiety and authoritarian anxiety, climate anxiety for us is pretty big. We have it because we know and we see it. And I just gave you an illustration of pretty much where we are and all we can save, which is Ayana Elizabeth Johnson and Katharine Wilkinson. So we are going to take a look then at a couple of those. Let's go back and let's look at the Good Grief Network. Fabulous, fabulous gals. 10 steps to resilience, empowerment in a chaotic climate. We need this. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out and look for these things. They exist. They really exist. And right now, I don't think any of us should go it alone. And I know I've been doing a lot of political things and I've been putting my toes in different pots of water. I don't know if that's the correct vernacular, my toes. And I'm trying to diversify my content. But when you really get back to it, this is who I am. This is where I'm good. We have a community, everybody, Alex and Kim from Canada and Channel Warhorse and Reese. It's great to see you here, and Nadia and Robert Forsyth. Wow. It's just so good to see all of you here. Costly and who else is here? Poppy. I love you, Poppy. And I thought I saw Kate and Make America Great Again, and Carrie, and all of you, Looney, all of you, and Dan Marceau, and so many people are here that we can all use these resources. We don't have to go this alone. You stick with Environmental Coffee House. I hope to get back to some of my roots. It's important, and I am the elder. I am the grande dame next to Carolyn, as far as we are online in the Doomosphere. I've earned my my wings. I could go get them. I have them. So rarely, if ever, are and of us healed in any of us healed in isolation. Healing is an act of communion. Are you struggling to cope during such tumultuous and unprecedented times? Yeah, lately I have been, even though I try not to show it and I try to always be strong. I'm not. Are you overwhelmed with feelings like grief, rage, fear, helplessness, and hopelessness? Not hopelessness. That's a weird one for me. But I've been feeling grief and rage. Fear, I don't know. I don't know how you guys feel about fear. I don't feel fear. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a function of age. Maybe it's because I've been through so many traumatic situations in my life that I've never explained to any of you, but I don't feel fear. I suppose if I felt fear, I wouldn't be living in the middle of nowhere with cats, me. But this is good stuff. Are you feeling stuck, burnt out, disconnected, or demoralized by the polycrisis and the systems in which we live? Because we have each other here and we have my channel and we have other channels that we feel good about and communities, maybe we're not as disconnected, but this is the internet. My friend Debbie came over the other day. We were talking about all this. You've seen Debbie's video, her and her husband, they bring me my firewood, and she recently went to visit her elderly sister. She has a sister much older than her. And they were talking about how really this decade just basically big time sucks, and they don't even want to be here. It's not like they want to die, but they just don't want to uh they don't want to be here. But yet we're here and we're coping. And because it's just polycrisis, it's crisis of everything. But we have each other. And Debbie is, I mean, for God's sake, she comes and visits me and she says, "Oh, let me take your recycling to the dump." And I had three huge bags, bag of plastic, bag of tin, and bag of glass. She takes it, took it to the dump. I haven't even been out in days. I hardly ever leave here. I don't have to. I'm really that fortunate. I really don't have to go anywhere. I can walk the property and I feel like I've been somewhere. Like the cats, they go through the cat door to the basement. They think they're going somewhere. They think they're outside. They think they're like it's a treat for them. Even the kittens, the two little kittens that I have left. Um, are you struggling? Are you lonely? Lonely. I don't know. Sometimes I can't be lonely because I get so many messages every day. And if I don't answer all of you all the time, I can't. It's hard. And I love you all, but it's hard. But we do have each other. And I will try to answer everybody. And the Discord is there. The Discord is there. It's better than Facebook because even though Jonathan does a great job on Facebook, I don't know. These platforms are all capitulating to the orange turd, and now with that NP, whatever it is, -7, and we can't talk about capitalism, or we can't talk about Christianity, or we can't talk whatever we can't talk about, whatever they want to call us terrorists over. I mean, I just use the word climate change or emissions, and that's a big no-no. Because even the Department of Energy says, nope, we're not having that on our website. We're not talking about climate change or emissions. Mm-mm. So next time somebody's sitting behind a school bus and they're smelling that stink, let them realize, oh, geez, we can't talk about those emissions. We'll just breathe it in like we did in the 1950s and 60s when our parents stuck us in the back of the station wagon. Well, not the 50s for me, but they stuck us in the back of the station wagon with the window open, the tailpipe, all the stuff wafting in, and we're breathing it. I was a wee little kid. No seatbelts. Do you want to experience a supportive, brave community where you can learn, lean into the troubles of today and rediscover meaning and joy? Yes. For me, meaning and joy is those kittens, one of which is going to my daughter soon. Are you ready to reinvest your time and energy in service of healing, growth, and connection? Connection? Oh, I think they have to. I've got to write to them. They've got to do some editing here. Do you want to help co create just and livable futures? Yes, because obviously we have a future. So the group is for you. And I'm looking at, they have 10-step circle for everyone. And I'm not looking at this one, it's already started. But stay tuned for more, and I'm going to see, and it's probably not expensive. And I'm going to look at this because I think it could do nothing but help. It couldn't hurt me. And I know these gals that started this. So they have the 10-step program, and I guess that they took this, from the 12 steps, and they have other events that happen. But I'd say the Good Grief Network is pretty goddamn good. And they've got things coming up. Don't Fear the Reaper, Learning to Live with Death and Eco Anxiety. And there's 2 of these going on. How to Fall in Love with the Future. Collective Grieving Space, December Collective Grieving Space. So it looks to me like something that could be helpful, maybe for me. I don't want to go, it's funny. I don't want to go to a therapist or a shrink at this time in life. And all they want to do is shove antidepressants. I'm not depressed. And if I was, it's situational depression, which I'm sure you could all understand. Depression is a weird thing. How can you not feel sad or grief? It's more grief for everything around us, right? But depression, I wouldn't say I have depression. The only time I have depression is when all these rock and roll stars die, and I feel like, yeah, we're losing all the best ones and all the ones we grew up with. And even though they're like all 15 and 20 years older than me, it's still kind of sad. But I don't know if it's full-blown depression. And I am not minimizing anybody's psychological, really diagnosed depression at all. I would never do that. I'm educated enough. So let's move on to Gen Dread. Britt Ray, fantastic. I am going to have her on the show, I hope. A newsletter about staying sane in the climate crisis. I get it. And I think you all should sign up. Unthinkable shares wide-ranging ideas for supporting emotional health and psychological resilience in the climate and wider ecological crisis. And I know a couple of people who actually have climate change therapists now. So it is that important. It's happening. Sorry, I'm really thirsty. I'm so dry. But I've got the wood stove on, so it's kind of dry, even with the water in the pots and the humidifier. So have you ever felt real discomfort when buying a plane ticket because you don't want to fly, but another part of you really wants the trip? Have you ever cried upon reading that a species you love is going extinct? Have you ever lost a coastline that you call home to the sea? Have you ever felt that a part of your identity is disappearing along with the stability of the climate? Have you ever felt that abandoned by older generations? Have you ever dreaded about our collective ecological future? The age of eco-anxiety is upon us, and climate-aware therapists are just a call away. And they're not going to shove antidepressants down your throat unless you're clinically depressed. The age of eco-anxiety is upon us, and climate awareness, they're just a call away. Meanwhile, the afterglow of climate disasters radiates psychiatric trauma throughout the globe. We need to get wise about what's happening, as well as what we can do to better care for each other and ourselves so we don't lose our marbles. And I think she's terrific. Consider this newsletter. So I'll put all these links in the show notes. I always put them in after the show because I don't want to give away my show. So I do that. So those are the only ones that I have to show you right now. So let's come back. And wow, I'm an hour. I don't have any movies. I don't have any videos. I just wanted to go over Gutierrez. I wanted to go over our ecological overshoot crisis that we're living through. I wanted to touch upon who's suffering the most in the world. I wanted to bring you some resources. And now I want to look at, well, first I'm going to say thank you for the super chats. Linda, thank you. Good Friday evening. I have to tell you something funny. If I don't make $100 at YouTube, they won't pay me. And since I got the channel back, the algorithm keeps me down. I'm getting nothing, and I'm trying to figure, well, is it because don't like me? Is it I'm old? Is it my material? Is it that I'm in too many places? I'm not a typical YouTuber. I pretty much do what I want. And I don't know what it is, right? If I put on the really quick beginning of the water, the water beginning, and start my show right away, then some people get upset because they're late. They miss things. Some people want the long one. Then when I put a long intro like today to start the chat going, then some people get upset with me. You can't keep everybody happy, right? But I put the long one on today so everybody could get started. So I want to thank you. And Nadia, God, Nadia, if it wasn't for you, I couldn't pay the bills here. Storms will gain altitude where they disrupt the O layer and weakening polar equatorial temperature gradients, disrupting the Hadley wind bands. Yes, into chaotic. Well, that Paul was talking about that today in his video, the Hadley bands. And Reese, thank you. Target bump. Boop. Do I have a here? Target bump. Here, we'll do this. Okay. But I can't find. I don't know. Again, this is, I don't know if I could, no, you can't see it. My Stream Deck, I updated it. Maybe I'll program it. I say this, I've said this for how long? A year. I'll program what I have. Alrighty, so let's go back and, I love you too. That's the whole thing. We need this. We need each other. And I know that I excel and I do my best in the doomosphere or talking about the climate crisis and the environmental crisis because this is our home. And like I said, though, I do like to go in. There's so much going on. It's very hard for me not to want to talk about the fact that the orange turd is building a bomb shelter and that they're going to abscond to Argentina when the shit hits the fan because that's what the Nazis did. That's sort of a down payment. Even though if you watch my show on Argentina, I've explained thoroughly what the swap in the money is for the peso, how it worked. It's not just we're giving billions of dollars like billions of dollars. It's not like that. But the wealthy people are going to win. All right, let's see. What else do we have here? And thank you guys. Like. That's great. It really helps. What's happening? Illuminatus Primus. Is that you, Tarstein? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it isn't. That's odd. It shows the handle and not the nickname here anymore. I don't know who that is. I mean, people have different names. A lot of people have different names. I don't know. That could have been. And Groove Dragon, baby. The reference frame. You're here. I feel ya. We carry with them in our hearts. And, there's my guy. What happened to my Moon Man? Environmental Coffee on the House. We have to give him a hand because he made the channel Environmental Coffee on the House when I was not on YouTube and I was sending him the videos and he was putting them up there. So the William Reese interview was up there. So there's another applause. Yay! Somebody near and dear to my heart. Sandy Wandy. Yeah, that's what he calls me. Yeah, all of a sudden, look at all these names, the handles aren't on here. And all of a sudden tonight, everything is different. Look at that. It kind of is. Humans are not allowed beyond low Earth orbit. Woohoo! I don't know what's going on. It's really kind of weird. Robert Forsyth, all of a sudden it's got the name, not your handle, but it's got your, like your, I don't know. Very weird. The Earth will not die. Our species will not survive. Well, we know that. It's all going to come to an end. We just don't prognosticate when. We don't know when. We don't have a crystal ball. I always say that. Sometimes I repeat the same shit, but yeah, this really is weird that we're seeing what we're seeing tonight. These different, the different handles. 2025 has been the worst year on record for land burned across Europe. According to European Forest Fire Information System, more than 1 million hectares have been scorched on the continent. Ugh. And in Ukraine, I was reading about Russia starting fires on purpose. Ukraine was a beautiful country. It is a war-torn country. It's going to take decades to recover. Beautiful country, farmlands, pastoral, beautiful, but destroyed and full of landmines. Just awful stuff. Let's see. Can we have collapse without losing the internet? No. But have an idea. And this is another thing Debbie and I were talking about. We were talking about newsletters and supporting the post office and maybe going back to old-fashioned, some kind of print, even if we don't print through our printers at home, some kind of mechanism to print. And if the post office still works, mailing letters. And if we want to be safe, we mail shit. If you don't want, unless they intercept the mail like they used to do. The good old FBI and CIA used to do that. So there we go. The forest must be logged because of forest fires. But what if the logging is the actual cause of the fires? Right? Oh, my God. Pup sending emails via shortwave. That's interesting. I have those ham radios I have to learn how to use. I say that too. I have them. I do. I have a prepping life here if I wanted to learn everything. I've got the batteries to back up and the solar panels if I need them. But I am not getting off the electric here. My last bill was $54. And I'm all electric. I won't tell you that I didn't take showers for a week. No. Ba-doom, boom. I don't have that either. What other? I have a little triangle. Okay, we got to do a flush of the day. All right, everybody, let's come up with a flush of the day. And I'll wait for you guys. Make America, let's see. Okay, what happens when every viewer here copies and pastes the link to YouTube URL to someone else or even just to themselves? Does doing though affect the algorithms positively? I don't know. Listen, try whatever you can. Get people to just, even if they just come and subscribe. I lost 4 subscribers in one day and then got 2 back. I have no idea how this works, who they are. Very often, a lot of times I will go through and unsubscribe channels I don't watch. It happens, but it is just so weird. It's just so weird. But literally, as pathetic as this is, if you don't make the $100, they don't pay you. And I'm sorry, but this channel costs a lot. And I have to pay the bills. It is so wild. I'm not asking you guys for anything because a lot of you are members and a lot of you donate on Buy Me a Coffee, which is, I can't say thank you enough. Because I literally in the last month or so have been thinking about just giving it all up because I'm on this budget plan and my brothers helped me and he says, well, after all this, you pay your bills and everything, you've got $150 left of discretionary income, and that's for groceries. I mean, I'm like, okay, am I going to lose weight? I haven't. But it's really, I laugh, but it's hard. And it's hard for everyone. And that's why I don't expect anything, you know. Then I go to these other YouTube channels, and I was watching another YouTuber the other day. Man, these people were falling all over themselves to give him $10 and $5. I'm like, and I thought his show was good, but I'm like, I do a pretty good show, but he's younger and he's a cute guy. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, I'm kind of a fossil, so who knows? Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. There is definitely ageism. Thank you, Looney. And don't forget, Looney has a show on Fridays. I missed you today, doll. I'm so sorry. It was, I had to be on Nicole Sandler's chat. I promised her, and it's been a long time. And I've been on her show, and I'm trying to talk her into coming on Left Past 10. Jet streams are in wave motion. How long will this last? When we drop an atmospheric cell, everything will really hit the fan. Yeah. Well, I do want to do another permafrost show. I want to try so hard to get Jennifer back with me, even if she's retired. Maybe we can do a state of the planet. It's coming up. We haven't done one in a long time. Holy shit. I'm not trying to guilt you guys into doing this. I'm not. Ethan is agreeable. Keep going. Oh, so sweet. I'm going to keep going, even when I feel shitty. I felt so lousy. I really did. I felt so lousy. And now, after doing this show with all of you in the chat, I reach out and touch you. I love you all. I actually feel so much better. So it is therapeutic for me too, you know? And to be able to share all the resources out there for us and possibly bring on some different people now that winter's coming. And next summer, hopefully I don't lose my channel, but next summer, I've got to find a way to have a regular schedule and stick to it, regardless of the garden, regardless of what's going on outside here. I've got to try to do that. But this summer, I was sick. 2 surgeries, hemorrhage. I lost a lot of blood. I'm still recovering from the severe anemia from that. That was August 2nd. So, I mean, it was a tough one. Now, Poppy, save the show, please. Poppy, you're so generous. You didn't have to do that, Poppy. Oh, my God. Thank you. Thank you. See, that makes me want to cry. I don't want to cry. I have cried on this show before. As goofy as I get it, as jokey as I am, and as snarky as I can be, I cry. And they're not depressive tears. They're just, different kinds of tears. So what are we going to flush, guys? Come on. I mean, we always flush Donald. We always flush them. What are we going to flush? Please, someone come up with a good flush. Hi, John. What's predicted? Oh, frost right near Chicago. We already had a couple of frosts. I covered everything. We haven't had one. In fact, the weather here, which I won't show you, but I'm looking at the whole next week. I could actually leave those. I could leave those things in because we're not going down. We're not going down to, let's see, 34 will be the coldest all week, 33 not till next Sunday. I could leave those cabbage in, and they get sweeter. They get sweeter as they get colder, but I don't want to take a chance. I really don't. Oh my God, and another one comes in, Emerald View. God bless you all. November will be good. That's another thing. My health insurance premiums. And we're all going through this. I don't even want to go there. Forget it. Let's not. Thank you. That was beautiful for the oldies. Okay. And the kiddies. But no, the channel is not for the kiddies. The kiddies was completely separate. Friedrich Merz, just paraphrase Goebbels with his Stratbild rubbish. Ooh, we'll have to look that up. All right. Oh, how about that? Okay, reference frame. We're going to do that. We are going to flush a Canadian, Doug Ford, because actually Doug Ford is kind of a douche. Bye-bye, Doug! Bye-bye, Doug! Bye! Bye, Doug! And listen, when I use certain words, because I am an elder, because I grew up in a time when certain things were accepted, and douchebag is kind of like one of my favorite pejoratives, I'm going to use it, just like pussy. Meow. I have the meow. And I think that Mike, the Speaker of the House in the United States, Mike Johnson, I think he's definitely a meow. And I want to find it. Here he is. Meow. 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 Okay. So what do we have coming up? I think tomorrow night, me and Antonio on. I have to solidify that with him. And I can't do an everyday show. Trust me, because I can't sit this long. Oh, Scumbag. Yeah, that's a good one. Love that one. They're all funny. Mike Gayfish Johnson. Oh, yeah, they're going to come knocking at my door. Did you see on Ken? Listen, by the way, Ken Klippenstein does a great Substack. He's the one that broke the story on that NPM, whatever it is. And I am working on that document that people, if they want the PDF, once I'm finished, they could write to me about if they are targeted because they are climate or environment channels or people that speak, a checklist on what to do if you are targeted or questioned, and there'll be legal links too to some legal people. I'm just hoping it doesn't happen to me. It's pretty scary, right? All right, we are an hour and 15 minutes, and I am feeling, oh, your dog just reacted to the cat meow. Let me play it again. I wish we could see your dog. I love it. That's really cute. I really appreciate it. I got 62 people here. It's like, do I really want to go? But I don't have much more content other than oh, okay, yes. We're going to do a Halloween show. We will be here on the 31st. Me and Looney, well, we won't tell you, but we I don't know yet if I'm going to do Be Best. Are we going to do Melania and Be Best? Or if I'm going to bring back Ayana from the grave, And Donald is definitely going to make an appearance. So we will definitely have a good show. And it will be worth your while to come. And I don't know if maybe I be Ivana and then maybe I take a break and come back as Melania. I don't know. Melania, she be best. She don't want to smell Donald. Oh. She doesn't even sleep with Donald. He's disgusting. She doesn't even want to kiss him. He is pretty hideous, isn't he? What is that channel? I have had it. They call him Kankles McTaco Tits. These girls have balls. They got balls this big, and they're already being threatened on the social media. They've got the right wing all in a tither. Good for them. Good for them. I do. They're seriously crazy. Antonio, I mean, here I am. I worry about my channel that has not even 5,000 subs after 9 years. And they'll put out a show and they have 5,000 views in 10 minutes, And then I look at them and I say, okay, how different am I really? But they have a producer, they have money and all that. And yeah, they are. Yes, they are. And I probably could do the same thing, but I'm not going to because I'm a doomer and I talk about climate and environment, and that's my specialty. And we just went through all of that. All right, listen, good night. I am going to start the good night music, and I want to thank you all for being here and being so generous tonight. November will be definitely worth it. I won't have to worry too much. If I, just as long as I can cover the internet and the channel expenses, that's all I want from this. I'm looking to be anybody that makes any money off this. like that. I didn't monetize for 6.5 years. It's just more like just to run this thing, to keep it going. Yep. And the Climate Crisis Club tomorrow morning. Look, even if you're not on X, you can put an X account. Just come to the space on Saturday mornings, and it goes all day. People from all over the world. I'm going to have Robert on. This guy, Robert, is just the most articulate, amazing, moving man on the planet. And I'm going to finally reach out and make sure all this happens now that I'm just about finished. I haven't started canning, but I got a vacuum sealer, so everything's frozen and I can can at my leisure instead of being stressed out. So there you go. I love you guys. I feel so much better. I mean, I really felt like shit. And I wrote to Sam, Collapse Chronicles Sam, about really just how bad I was feeling. I mean, really bad. And I did have a flare, which I didn't tell anybody. So, I get those. Thank you, Looney. I love you. Don't forget, he's got a show on Fridays if you want to join that. And yes, Robert's amazing. He's so articulate, and I just adore him. When you first saw the methane crater in Siberia in 2012 and nobody knew what it was, Jennifer did. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. We'll get her back for a show. We're going to get her back for a show. All right, babies. Come on, let's dance. We're going to dance it out. Should I stand up with my back brace and everything? Okay. Let's dance. I love you. Peace out, baby guys. I love you. Love you. Da, 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 da. La 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 la.